It's definitely been a while, but good morning, good afternoon, good evening, happy Monday, and happy New Year. I'm just covering all my bases right now. Welcome to a brand new episode of Monday Evening Quarterback, the first of 2025. My name is Christian Simpson, and I am the creator. I am the founder. I'm the NFL and college football analyst. I'm a blogger. I am the football analyst to several shows, which I'll plug at the end of this episode. And just an all around football junkie. But I started a brand called the Daily Blitz, which we specialize in all things football 24/7, 365, and I am so glad to be back. It's definitely been a while. Took a little hiatus for the holidays. I hope you all had a very Merry Christmas, and I hope you brought in the new year not only the right way, but the safe way. What a showing of football it's been these last couple of weeks. I've still been watching. I've still been previewing the games left and right. And man, now I'm here to talk about a couple of things. Week 18 of the NFL is officially in the books, and the playoff matchups have been set. We're going to talk about that when I do the NFL section of things. College football, the first 12-team playoff bracket for the college football playoff started with 12, and now we are down to 4. The quarterfinals did take place, and we are down to 4. I cannot wait to discuss all that. We're going to go to the phone lines. We are going to answer some questions. I'm going to promote. I will just continue to talk football. I mean, I'm so happy to be back. And another thing I want to mention, my birthday was last month on December 13th. So to everybody who found a way to get in contact with me, you wish me one, you tagged me in something on social media, you sent a text, a message, any form of communication, man, I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the absolute world to me. But with that being said, let's dive right in. Also, if this is your first time tuning in, welcome. If you were referred to me, thank you for taking the referral, and thank you to the person who referred you to me. And if you've been here, I hope you're well. I hope you're merry. I hope all the good things, and even for the people who are listening for the first time, I hope all the good things are that you want in 2025. I hope they truly come your way. Then we're almost done with all the infomercial stuff, as I like to joke around and say. If you are liking what you are hearing and you want to keep up with Monday Evening Quarterback, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. This is on YouTube, Spotify, Twitch, Blog Talk Radio, and the Nerd Port Network. All right, I got all that out the way. Now, the quarterfinals of the college football playoff. We're here, and now they're officially in the history books. The top 4 seeds were Oregon. They were the 1 seed. And they dominated in their first year in the Big Ten. Georgia was the 2 seed. They just escaped. They truly just escaped Texas in the SEC championship. Boise State was the 3 seed. And then Arizona State, the Sun Devils, were the 4 seed. Now, a lot of people have been disappointed with the performances of the college football playoff because many of the games have been blowouts. All but one And we're going to dive right into it. Let's start with the first game, the Fiesta Bowl. Penn State, Boise State. Penn State, in their game against SMU, was the best I had seen them look all year long because they set the tone defensively. They intercepted Kevin Jennings a couple of times, and offensively, they just controlled things. I mean, this year was the best I've seen Drew Aller look as a starting quarterback in college. And of course, he has weapons to lean upon with Nicholas Singleton, Katron Allen, who you could say is the best duo of running backs in the country. And Harrison Wallace III, Tyler Warren. Like, this Penn State offense, when they can push the ball up the field, they're pretty good, if you ask me. Playing Boise State, so they were facing the Heisman runner-up in Ashton Jeanty. And look, everyone knows when you play Boise State, the goal is what? Load up the box, stop Ashton, and put the game in the hands of Maddox Madsen. Ashton still did what Ashton does. 30 carries, 104 yards, no touchdowns, but still went over 100 yards. Penn State did keep him out the end zone. They didn't really need a lot out of Drew Aller. 13 of 25, $171, and he threw 3 touchdowns. So they didn't need him to dominate the game with his arm because Katron Allen really did a good job toting the rock. 17 carries, $134. Nicholas Singleton added 87 yards, and as a team, Penn State ran the ball for 216 yards. Penn State came out aggressive, and I feel when they start quickly, I don't think there's many teams that could beat them. This, by far, is the best year of James Franklin's career, and he somewhat got a little bit of that monkey off his back, but not completely. Penn State did dominate this game by a score of 31-14. Penn State was just dominant on both sides of the line of scrimmage, and Boise State never really stood a chance. Penn State did move on to the semifinals of the college football playoff, or as I like to say, the Final Four. Arguably the best game of the college football playoff, and you could even say this is the best college football game you may have seen all year. Texas, Arizona State. The last time Texas was playing in Atlanta was for the college football playoff. Was for the SEC championship and the 2 seed. Excuse me. Now, Arizona State, what a story they've been this year. Kenny Dillingham is a young coach who really brought the best out of his players. And Arizona State has one of the best players in the country that you never heard much about. And his name is Cam Scatterbo. Now, I was talking to one of my buddies during this game. I used to contribute for him, Wyatt Reed, on, what was the name of that show? The Great Debate on SportsTownChicago.com. But Wyatt and Steve Sufferton. What's up, Steve? And he texted me and he said, how come I never heard of this Cam Scatterbo guy? I'm like, the real? No. Just put it to you like that. Should he have received an invite to New York City? Very much so. Because I don't think Arizona State would be here in that position without him. He's a hard runner. He's a shifty runner. He reminds me a lot of Danny Woodhead, who played for the New England Patriots. But I think he's a little more versatile because he can catch the ball. And he even threw a pass for 42 yards to push Arizona State into the red zone. But coming into this game, I wanted to see if Texas could get off to a fast start because they let Clemson, a team that they're way better than, hang around a little too much. They could never really put them away. Um, Quinn Ewers had a nice game. Now, if he didn't throw that interception, this would be an amazing stat line. 20 or 30, 322 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and the 1 interception. Quintravion Wisner, 18 carries, 45 yards. Texas really couldn't get much of anything going in the running game. And Matthew Golden was the leading receiver. 7 receptions, a buck 49. And Sam Levitt, 24-46, 222 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. And that man Cam did what he did. 30 for 143, 2 touchdowns, and he also added on 99 yards receiving on 8 receptions. What a game this was. It went into double overtime. Texas escaped with a win, 39-31. I have a couple more things I want to say about Texas. I'll say that when I preview the semifinals before we go to the phone lines and go pay some bills. But Texas escapes. Probably the one that I think surprised a lot of people. Well, the next two. Ohio State, Oregon. I previewed their first meeting in October. And it was one of the best college football games I've seen all season long. Probably one of the best football games I've seen all year long. My biggest takeaway in that first meeting, one, Jim Knowles decided he wanted to keep his wide receivers on an island, which is the worst thing you could do against firepower like Oregon, because Oregon can beat you in many different ways. I also noticed anytime Ohio State would punch the ball in the end zone, Oregon would punch them back. And they never went away. Oregon won the first game 32-31. Just horrible play, clock management by Ohio State. So what would happen in the second meeting at the Rose Bowl? And that's on my bucket list, to go to a game at the Rose Bowl. Have you guys seen that setting? In the opening round game, in the opening round against the Tennessee Volunteers, you could tell Ohio State took that loss to Michigan very personally, because they punched Tennessee in the mouth, bottled up the run, dared Nico Iamaleava to throw the ball, and the rest is history. Just couldn't do it. When Ohio State is attacking at the line of scrimmage consistently, there's not many teams that could beat them. And they did the same thing on Wednesday, on New Year's Day, in Pasadena. Outscores Oregon 14-0. Their offense did what they had to do, but the defense came in and did the rest. And every time Oregon tried to climb back into this game, Ohio State punched them in the teeth, and they could never recover. Ohio State physically dominated this game from the first whistle to the last whistle, and this is why they're moving on. Oregon just couldn't get much of anything going, couldn't get the running game going. Ohio State putting a ton of pressure on Dillon Gabriel, who was a Heisman candidate this year, and Will Howard. What a game. 17-26, 319 yards, 3 touchdowns. And Jeremiah Smith, play man on him, and you see what happens. 7 receptions, 187 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Travion Henderson, 8 carries, 94 yards, and he scored 2 touchdowns as well. Ohio State ran the ball for 181 yards. Ohio State to me has the best group of wide receivers in the country. Jeremiah Smith, Emeka Egbuka, Carnell Tate. What a game. Dillon Gabriel, 29-41, 299 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. But here's what's really standing out to me. The Oregon rushing. Jordan James was held to 14 yards on 7 carries. As a team, Oregon ran the ball for negative 23 yards. And Trayshawn Holden was the leading receiver for the Oregon Ducks. Yeah, Oregon got kicked in the teeth, and they picked the worst time to lose their first game of the year. Ohio State won this game and dominated this game by 20 points, 41-21. And to wrap it all up, the Sugar Bowl. Now, this game did get pushed back because of a senseless terror attack in New Orleans. For those of you who know me, the city of New Orleans is near and dear to my heart. That is where my late grandfather is from and where he is currently buried. May he continue to rest in peace. Man, this city of New Orleans is one of the toughest. Everything they've gone through, from Hurricane Katrina to now this, just senseless. And I just extend and lift every victim up in prayer that was affected by this situation. I just had to make sure I got that out the way. Switching gears, back to football. Notre Dame, Georgia. This was the one I was really looking forward to. I wanted to see how Georgia was going to look without Carson Beck. Gunnar Stockton was replacing him. Notre Dame really handled their business against Indiana. They were the most businesslike out of everybody in the first round. Because they told Indiana pretty much, look, we're just gonna show we're more man than you. We're not gonna say it. We are just gonna show it. This Notre Dame football team has been on a tear ever since that loss to Northern Illinois. I love what Marcus Freeman is doing, but I knew they were gonna have their hands cut out for them. Kirby Smart is the best coach in the country. You're giving them ample amount of time to prepare. And Notre Dame beat Georgia the way Georgia beats their opponents. Started fast, never looked back. One thing Notre Dame did that really stood out to me was bottle up Georgia's run. Because with a new quarterback, run the football, you want to kind of take pressure off of the young quarterback. And Notre Dame said no. Gunner's going to beat us from the pocket. And Gunner didn't have a bad stat line. 20 of 32, 234 yards passing, 1 touchdown. Trevor Etienne just couldn't get it going on the Notre Dame side. All they needed Riley Leonard to do was kind of control things. As a team, Notre Dame ran the ball 37 times for 154 yards. Jordan Faison was the leading receiver, and Mitchell Evans, the stud tight end, was the second leading receiver. Georgia was just dominated at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football. But I think my biggest takeaway in all of this was Marcus Freeman coached circles around Kirby Smart. Absolute circles. And what can you say? Notre Dame is advancing, and they're one game away from playing in the national championship for the first time since the 2012 season. I remember that. It's when they played Alabama, and of course we know who won. Bama. Roll Tide, roll. To me, this was the most dominating performance of the week because I always say it, Georgia is what? A bully. And when you play a team with their own style against them, they fold. What do I always say? The bully don't like to get bullied. And that's exactly what happened. Notre Dame punched them in the mouth and they never looked back. And they kept their foot on the gas, most importantly, because it looked like there were times when Georgia was threatening. But Notre Dame made sure that they kept them down. Notre Dame would give up a couple of plays down the field here and there. And once they got in the red zone, It was a wrap. So, with that being said, the top four seeds in the college football playoff all lost: Oregon, Georgia, Boise State, and Arizona State. Um, the final four is set. So, seeds 1 through 4 is gone, seeds 9 through 12 are gone. We have a 5, a 6, a 7, and an 8 remaining. Notre Dame will play Penn State, and Ohio State will play Texas. And I'm truly looking forward to both games this upcoming week. Notre Dame and Penn State will play in the Orange Bowl, and that is coming on Thursday. And Ohio State and Texas comes on Friday night. I cannot wait. I will be on Twitter for both of these games. Little mini preview. I think Penn State and Notre Dame is going to be a very hard hitting and physical football game because both these teams are very similar to one another. They both want to be physical. They both want to run the football, and they both have quarterbacks that just kind of need to control things. Two black head coaches, gotta acknowledge that. James Franklin, Marcus Freeman. Yeah, this should definitely be fun, and this will be the first time that a black head coach will be in the college football playoff national championship or the national championship of a college football game. Put it to you that way. Yeah, I can't wait to get my hands on that. And Ohio State and Texas, believe it or not, they open up against each other next year. In I believe it's in Columbus, if I'm not mistaken. So we get a little preview on Friday. Pretty much a home game for the Texas Longhorns because the game will be played at Jerry World in Dallas. So one of these teams, they are going to leave AT&T Stadium with one more win than the Dallas Cowboys have at home. Ohio State has played the best football out of anybody in this tournament. They've done it offensively. They've done it defensively. Ryan Day has been coaching this team very well. And like I mentioned, that loss to Michigan, I think, was the best thing that could have happened for them because look at how rejuvenated they looked. You know, they jumped out their box for that game. And because of that, it caught up to them. Texas, which version of them is going to show up first? Because they started fast against Arizona State. Then they allow Arizona State to get back into the game. But this is a very interesting quarterback matchup. Will Howard on one side, Quinn Ewers on the other. Quinn used to play for Ohio State. This could be his last game in a Texas uniform. Who knows? I preview that one on Friday, an hour before kickoff. So be on the lookout for it. That is all that I have for college football. But one thing I do want to also acknowledge, December 27th, so what, almost a week, 2 weeks ago now, the world of broadcasting did lose an icon, a titan, Greg Gumbel, who is synonymously known with CBS Sports, but also worked for ESPN and NBC Sports. Very distinct voice, caused some of the greatest moments in sports. Spent 5 decades in the world of broadcasting. He unfortunately lost his battle with cancer at the age of 78. I was stunned to hear the news because I didn't even know he was sick, nor was I supposed to know. This is tough because he truly paved the way for many African American broadcasters to come in after him. The first African American to do play-by-play on a Super Bowl. He called 2 Super Bowls. Always known for March Madness and Selection Sunday with Clark Kellogg and the crew. Legends never die. They are always remembered. I did issue a statement last week through Twitter and Instagram But I just want to extend my sympathies and my prayers and my condolences to the Gumble family, everyone who worked with him, everyone who knew him, because you heard nothing but great things about him. He was truly class, but rest in peace to an icon, Mr. Greg Gumbel. His legacy will forever live on, and that's how I am gonna end this segment. We're gonna go to the phone lines. Then when I get back, we're gonna talk football. We're gonna look back at Week 18, and we're gonna look ahead to Wild Card Weekend. Super Wild Card Weekend at that. I am Christian Simpson. This is Monday Evening Quarterback on Spotify, YouTube, Twitch, Blog Talk Radio, and the Nerdport Network. Enjoy the conversation. And once again, Happy New Year. Be right back.